If you're starting in graphic design and you think it just might be too complicated, well, maybe you're right, but there's always a start. In this video, I'm going to break down all of my design process and design a brand from scratch, step by step, for all of my beginner friends out there. Hi guys, I'm Duda, a graphic designer who likes to talk about graphic design and brand design. I've decided to make this video because maybe it's because I'm more chronically online now and I'm more present in, this specific niche. But I find the world of graphic design today for beginners more overwhelming than it was 5 years ago when I was first starting. I know 5 years ago doesn't seem much, but the world was different back then. Remember, things changed. I often feel a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of information I receive on a daily basis. And listen, this is coming from someone who actively puts out information out there every day, like I'm doing this right now. In a way, this is wonderful because we are sharing knowledge with each other, right? I've learned so much from the creators in this field. That was crucial to me, so I'm really grateful to these creators for sharing their skills with me. And I'm here today to share my skills with you. Talking about sharing skills, something that really helped me during my rough start was watching classes from other creatives on Skillshare. I've learned so much from typography to brand design to content creation to visual identity through online classes. And I truly 100% believe that they are crucial in this field, even if you choose a traditional educational path like I did. This allowed me to explore different areas of design without any long-term commitment. And it's a very effective way to refine specific skills and learn directly from industry leaders. I'm always looking for ways to improve my content right now, and I'm hooked on this amazing class about social media storytelling by Rob. So if you watch my content improving, it's no coincidence. I am watching Skillshare classes and I am taking notes. Also, I watched a class about brand illustration by Roman Mordov, and I'm going to illustrate some things today, so I'm excited to put what I learned into practice. Learn new skills at your own pace, no rush, no pressure, all thanks to the largest online learning community for creatives. And the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So get started today. Okay, I'm here today not only as a crazy person on the internet, but also as a friend to open my heart and share with you my design process. And 100%, it's up to you to say, this is great, or this is useful, I can use this on my own design process, or be like, you know what, I think I'm good. Thank you though. I don't want to be a figure of authority. I want to be a pal, a buddy, a person who also makes mistakes because I'm a person. So, let's do this. No crazy words, no BS, no, just let's design. Our client today is a coconut water brand called Tropina. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw this project, so you're missing. And they're asking for packaging and branding. Okay, so here's what we know about our client. Tropina is a coconut water brand that keeps things simple and natural. Made from fresh coconuts, it's light, refreshing, and hydrating. Whether it's for a post-workout boost or just a moment to cool it down, Tropina is an easy and natural choice. Some keywords for our brand are tropical, fresh, natural, and hydrating, which I personally think it's funny. So, what are you thinking for the brand? It should feel hydrating. By the way, this is a brief I grabbed from an Instagram page called Designer Briefs, so go check them out. All right, so let's say you've landed this client and you're super excited to start creating, and you've been briefed, you already know the brand, you're ready to jump straight into your favorite software or maybe sketch something and start designing, right? Right? Wrong. First, you're going to be working on your mood board or mood boards, if that's your thing. You do you. Some people choose to present 2 or 3 mood board options and let the client, freely say, I like this one or I like this one, or can we combine elements from both of them? I've done that. It's a nice creative process choice. You do you, girl. Setting that strong direction early on helps reduce revisions and, back and forths. And that's what mood boards are for, basically. Well, not only that, but big on this one use case. Just between me and you, because embarrassing, when I was starting out, I used to present 2 or 3 logo options to my clients. I thought that was standard. Turns out it's not. And don't do that. Don't. I wish someone had told me when I was a child graphic designer that wasn't the best approach. You're gonna get overworked and they're not gonna be paid for those options. I did it because I didn't have a strong enough foundation to confidently present just one design. But now I know that with a good brief and a solid creative direction, starting with one strong design is the way to go. Now, listen, disclaimer, I'm not talking about adjustments, okay? That's like a whole different thing. I would literally work on 3 different logos and present to the client.
I always start my research process by searching for inspiration that's specific to the brand I'm designing for. So in this case, a coconut water brand. But from there, I branch out and I look for inspiration from any type of brand, basically, as long as it fits the creative direction. And then next, I narrow it down based on something more specific from the brief, like tropical brands, for example. And then I get even more detail. Usually it's something specific to style. So things like brand illustrations or bold color palettes or handcrafted typography. And then I go ahead and I save everything to a Pinterest board, and from there I start putting my mood board together. I always make sure to include at least typography, packaging, imagery, and color references to my mood boards. But don't limit yourself to what I say. Feel free to add textures, ads. Really anything that inspires you. It makes sense for the brand. I also like to include a color palette to, inspire me. These are not necessarily the exact colors I'm using for the brand, but it helps build a vibe for sure. I don't know, maybe I'm using those, who knows? Stick to the video to find out. Okay, design-wise, there's not a right or wrong way to create a mood board. I would just make sure your mood board is clear and cohesive so not only you, but also the client can understand what's going on. In this case, I really want to incorporate some brand illustrations to this project, so there's a lot of illustration references here. The colors are very spot on to what I had in mind. It's very tropical, it's very bold, and typography wise, I'm really thinking something very organic, rough on the edges maybe. I'm also inspired by the sort of photocopy halftone effect on images, so I might mix a little bit of that as well. Let's see where my mind will take me. I don't know, who knows? That's the fun part of designing. Now that we have our mood board, it's time to sketch something. Some people don't sketch. I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I jump straight into software, but I'm trying to sketch more. And in this case, sketching was a must because I want to doodle and scribble some things for brand illustration. I started by writing down some words that came to mind when I thought about the brand and scribbling some really ugly doodles. Coconuts, a cocktail umbrella, a cup, a straw, this little weird guy, palm trees, things that obviously just make sense for the brand. I'm doing this on my iPad on Procreate, but don't worry, you're good with a paper, a pencil, and maybe a couple of markers if you want to trace your sketches. Then I moved on to a little coconut mascot, which I tried some poses and they're cute, but in my head, no matter what I do, the coconut body, the coconut, just looks like a bowling ball. So I was like, wait, what if I use an actual coconut, a picture of a coconut instead? Mind you, this is brand illustration. I'm not gonna use the mascot as the logo. I'm also sketching some lettering because I was thinking about going with a custom lettering instead of a font. I don't know if I like this. Anyways, when you're sketching lettering, make sure to fill in the letters instead of just drawing the outlines. Trust me, outlining only just makes things harder. Filling them in helps you understand negative space and balance a lot better, which is something you won't really notice if you're only looking at the outlines.
Just to clarify, lettering is when you actually draw the letters, and font is more like, Helvetica. Helvetica is a font. Arial, that's a font.
But yeah, don't feel pressure into creating something nice and clean and beautiful here. Embrace the ugliness. Don't feel intimidated by it. I swear, something will come to you.
Okay, it's finally time to design. Oh my god, I'm scared. I'm kidding, I'm not. I can do this.
As you can see, I sketched and traced my illustrations on Procreate and I've exported everything to Illustrator. So now it's time to vectorize them.
A vector image just means that no matter how much you scale up and scale down, it's always perfectly sharp. It never gets blurred or pixelated. A vector is perfect for logos, illustrations, icons, anything that needs to be resized a lot, like prints or billboards.
So I just vectorized everything using the silhouette preset because everything is black and white, so it really doesn't matter. But I recommend exploring these presets later. So you have to 1. Vectorize, 2. Expand, 3. Ungroup everything to be able to edit the vectors. That's it. That's how simple it is. I've done this part on my iPad, but you can definitely do this with the mouse or a trackpad. I'm just like bougie and I bought an iPad, so I kind of want to use it as much as I can before it gets obsolete. So I'm basically smoothing everything out because it's a bit too rough for my liking, but I'm definitely still keeping these organic letter forms. I'm also grabbing the pencil tool and just adjusting some things, but not too much. But I don't even know if I like this, to be honest. The coconut mascot is also a bit too rough, so I'm just smoothing it out. Smoothing it out, smoothing it out. Let's make everything smooth, like my brain. Okay, so in this step, we have to 1. Create the logo, define the typography, and choose a color palette. 2. Develop the additional assets, so patterns, icons, illustrations, packaging. And then 3. Work on the applications, so like business cards. Not for this one. I'm not designing a business card for this, but like social media mockups, packaging mockups. Now, here's something about the actual design process, the sitting down and design part that you should know. That I need to say this. I can only help you with so much, because every single individual has a different flux of ideas. Even if we have the same exact ideas, the idea inside my head and the idea inside your head will be different. That's why being a designer or any type of visual artist is difficult, by the way, because you need to conceptualize and create something that is not even inside your head. It's inside your client's head. You know what I mean? You can be taught design principles, you can learn software, you can know how to press buttons, but your flux of ideas and your workflow, I believe that for creative work is unique. I'm going to sound like a guru, like Loki, Yoda, I don't know, kind of coach, but this is on you. Like, you gotta find your own path. So experiment with shapes, with types, with colors, explore different concepts, test color combinations, even if it's ugly. I swear, I think making ugly things is good because you not only learn from mistakes, but you know what to avoid, and your design process can be a whole finding yourself moment, finding what you like, and getting to know you better. Right, that was a good therapy session. So I've experimented with typography and lettering, but I decided to ditch my lettering. I swear to God, I've done better lettering. I'm just gonna put on the screen some letterings that I've done that I think that are cool. This is cool as fuck, right? It was just not my best moment, which is okay. Like, that's the point I want to make with this video. It's okay to flop sometimes. Well, not really, but here's another lesson. Okay, I decided to ditch my lettering because I've refined and tweaked a bit, and it's not the vision I had in mind. So I can just let go of this before I spend too much time on something I know I won't use, no matter how much I tweak and how much I adjust. Do you guys remember the damn cherry from the Evergem brand design video? Go watch that. That was chaotic. Now I've chosen my top 3 fonts from this bunch, and I've put each one next to the illustrations to kind of like have an idea of how they would behave in an environment with the brand illustrations. And even though I like Aquatronica, which is the bottom right one, I think the legibility is not that great when you put it amongst other elements. So I'm really in between Post-Cut Noia and Nexarescence. By the way, you guys do know that the O is supposed to be a coconut with a straw in it, right? Is it? I think it's pretty obvious, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep the straw. You know what? I will. It's cute. Yes, I will. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Okay, our options are narrowed down. So let's see what we can do from here. I need some peace of mind. I will explore different visuals until like we have something solid. What do we have here? We got the logo and some variations, a secondary typography, which is work sense, and a color palette, which is really similar to the one we have in our mood board. I barely adjusted the shades, but it's basically the same color palette, but slightly different hex codes. I really like these colors and how these colors go together, and I think it kind of, stirs away from the obvious color scheme, which would be something with blue shades, I feel, for like a coconut brand. Green is also pretty obvious, but I think blue would be more like, oh, water. But it is very tropical. Yeah, and we have some illustrations. Now let's talk logo variations.
Logo designs need variation because they're going to live in a different places, and not every place fits the same version. Honestly, that's a good metaphor for change. Since we talk about Skillshare today, let's take the Skillshare's logo as an example. This is the logo they used on their website header. This is the variation they used for their website icon. And also, they have a secondary logo for specific use cases. So having logo variations is a good way to make sure that your logo will always look clear, good, and professional, no matter where it is.
Now it's time for label design, and I'm really loving using Kittle for this specific use case. So I'm going to use Kittle for that, but you may use your preferred software, of course. Now, I've said this before, but packaging and, label is not my biggest strength. So you should probably watch a video that is focused on label design, maybe. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But I feel like I'm getting better though, but I very much prefer poster design, merch design, logo design. I think those are my strengths. When it comes to label, that is probably my least favorite, but I'm doing it and I'm trying to improve because literally my work. I did start with a sketch on my iPad, so I designed my label based on that one sketch. On the left, it's the basic information about the product and a little about section for the brand, nutritional value, all of that information that you need to add to a label. And the center is the main label design, the main graphics. And on the right, we're doing a little illustration just to be cute.
I'm back. I am so sorry about the scenery change. I'm actually in Rome now, so that's interesting. I'm done with my label design, as you guys saw. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's my best work. Don't get me wrong, I love the illustrations and I like the layout, I like the vibe, but I think if you watch the Evergem brand design video, I do a much better job at explaining the, packaging label design process, and I just think I did a better work there in overall. Also, this video, it's kind of like too long now, and I know that we don't got the attention span for this anymore, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. So now it's time to give you an overview of what we created today. So I'm gonna show you the brand and talk a little bit about the next final steps, which would be possible adjustments and refinements, also client presentation and brand guidelines, very important. And lastly, of course, sending all final files to the client. But anyways, yeah, this video is a bit too long. Thank God I'm charismatic, so let's talk about it. Client presentation. A client presentation is when you're going to showcase the full brand identity for the first time to the client. So this is very important. Make sure you work on a nice, cohesive, and polished presentation. You're a designer. You gotta show you can design. A brand guideline is a guide that will guide people on how the brand should be used across various channels and materials. This is a very extensive and complicated topic. There's a lot to cover, and I'm so sorry, but I cannot cover this topic. I don't think we can cover everything in one video. Then when everything is approved, you're got paid, or at least 50%, because that's another final tip. I like to charge my clients a 50% payment ahead before I start the project, and then the other 50% is after the client receives the project, which is a very common practice. It's you're just like protecting yourself as a worker, as a designer, as a freelancer. Also, contracts are very important. Again, I cannot cover all topics here. Anyways, once you're happy, the client is happy, everyone's happy, the brand looks good, you send the final files. Yeah. So you're going to prepare a nice folder with all of the final files for different use cases, such as logo files, so you know, SVG or AI, Adobe Illustrator files. For vector, I already explained to you what a vector is. And then of course the PNG and a JPEG version for raster. A raster is a pixelated images, so it's the opposite of a vector. It's nice to include the color specifications as well. I mean, that's all going on the brand book, but sometimes I like to create a little color palette and include in the file, so the client really is aware of what colors they should use on the brand. Iconography, maybe a pattern. Of course, that depends on the project. Packaging, if it's the case, what you're giving to the client. It all depends on what kind of project you're designing. But yeah, the main things are basically make sure you do a good work on a client presentation. Mock-ups, okay? Do not forget about high quality mock-ups and how important they are to a client presentation, because it's the first time that the client will see how the brand should behave in real life. So good quality mock-ups, this is very important. A good and detailed brand book, and all of the logo files and the packaging files and the whatever files your client might need. Okay, now that it's all covered, it's time to show you our baby Tropina, our today's creation. I really hope you guys like this project, because I did. Thank you so much for sticking around and having fun with me. If you're a beginner designer, I wish you the most beautiful and successful journey. And I hope that we could both grow together, and I hope that one day our paths will cross, because that would be super cool. After all, we're all in this together. We're a community. If you're a experienced designer and you're just watching for the vibes, or I don't know, thank you as well, I guess. I hope you had fun. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of our design today. Only nice comments though, because I'm very sensitive, and if I get harsh criticism, I might change careers and stop designing, so thank you. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.